So like I picked Allan Hancock College because it was close. That was the main thing. It was close, and I didn't really know a lot about it. You know, I'm 18 years old, didn't know much. But then once I started going here, it was kind of like doors opened. You know, like you have teachers that teach you how to do stuff if they're really good. You know, and then they kind of see, hey, you're really good at this, and they kind of push you in that direction. So that was kind of like the beginning of it. Really, was having that opportunity. You know, and then just having the right teachers kind of showing you the right way. Or like, hey, I noticed you're really good with letters. You know, maybe you should try picking, you know, graphic design, or maybe you should try this or try that. But just I want to learn everything. I think like once you take a whole bunch of different art classes, you realize like how they all kind of like help you in pushing you in whichever direction you want to go. A lot of teachers are super inspiring, you know, because they always had some helpful way to like, you know, hey, that looks great. Maybe try doing it like this, you know, and instead of, you know, being harsh or anything like that, it was always like a growing opportunity. Everything's a growing opportunity. You know, I'm trying to remember, I think it might've been Nancy Jo, but she said something like, you know, life's a never ending learning process. You got to keep learning. And that was like something that always stuck with me. It's like, oh, like don't ever get to a point where you think you're the best. You know, you just got to keep going, you know, pushing yourself and try to do better. I think overall, like Nancy Jo and John Hood, for sure. Nancy Jo, especially in the graphic design classes, I definitely learned a lot in those classes. And everything that I learned in there, like I still use those every day. Like I did a design yesterday, and I still use an older version of Illustrator because I don't want to pay the subscription. You know what I mean? I want to keep it. So a lot of the skills that I learned, I just apply them to what I'm doing for signage and murals or gold leaf on a window or whatever. I learned a ton from John Hood. He was always super like helpful, basically, you know, just kind of an inspiring person. John reached out to me basically saying that they had this Centennial vessel and they wanted to get it done. So he asked me if I was interested. And I think at the time I was super busy, and I was like, you know, it took me a second, and I was like, you know what? Yeah, let's do it. And it was pretty gnarly. Like it had layers and layers of paint already caked all over it. So they brought it into the ceramic studio, and I started sanding it down with like 80 grit sandpaper because it was just layers of paint all over it, and sanded it till it was pretty smooth. But it was just like a really cool opportunity. You know, it was just like, hey, do you want to do this? Like, yeah, let's do it. Let's see where I can have a design. And, you know, it was kind of like almost like a last minute type thing, you know? So I just kind of, just kept working with it, you know, and they came up with a design that is like, you know, my style, but something that I would think looks really cool on like a vessel, you know? Like looking at art museums and stuff, like sometimes you see some of the ancient, like Oriental vessels that have this just beautiful brushwork, or Hispanic style pottery with these awesome scroll work. Like that's what I was really inspired by when I saw that. It was just like, you know, seeing a lot of the ancient stuff that was, you know, all done by hand. Number one, I would just say thank you, you know, thank you. Cause it's like, you guys you're giving everybody the tools. And if they really like soak it all in, you know, they're really going to learn the right way and the right path to get on. You know, it's definitely challenging, but like the teachers, like, you know, they make everything possible. You know, being a teacher is really hard. Like I try to teach my son all the time stuff, you know. And I like teaching people things about signs. I like teaching people things about like lettering or striping or whatever. I don't really teach classes, but if somebody like reached out and like, hey, I want to learn how to do this or whatever, sometimes I show people a couple things here and there. I have people that I've tried to mentor. Some people get it right off the bat. Other people don't. Teaching's hard. So like the number one thing I would just say would be thank you.